Hi, welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, January 9th of 2025. I'm Gio Betancourt. This is a recording done by Vantage Markets about 2 hours and 10 minutes prior to the U.S. session open. In reality, today, the stock market is going to be closed due to respect for the late President Carter. So there won't be that much volume, but I do want to take this time for us to take a look at some of the indices and see where they are, what their fluctuation seems to be, or the direction indeed. So in front of us we have the NASDAQ on a daily candlestick chart, and as we take a look at the chart, we can obviously understand that the market has been on a downtrend, pushing lower from making that all-time high, and taking into consideration this all-time high of 22,423, we in technical analysis it is said that corrections, when the market has entered a correction, you can speculate that that correction will be 10%. So 10% from 22,423 is 2,242 points, 0.3. And minus that gives us right around 20,180. And the market has obviously fluctuated beyond that. Okay, so in this candle from yesterday, fluctuation, it did that. Let me make this chart wider so you can appreciate the direction. So 21,180 is somewhere around here. Okay, the market yesterday actually made a low of 21,165. So technically speaking, the NASDAQ has corrected itself that 10%. From here, you could have expected or speculated that the market will rebound and continue its trajectory higher, or obviously begin to do a uptrend. But however the case, today, the market did open with a gap up. Yesterday, the market closed at 21,323, and today it opened out 21,331. Small gap up, it has been closed, but the trajectory continued. So you can begin to speculate whether this is not a correction, but a beginning of a cycle of a downtrend. But in order to identify a downtrend, we will have to have moved 20% from that all-time high, and 20% from that all-time high of 22,423 times 20% is 4,484 points. Minus that gives us 17,938, around 18,000. So we are way far away from that. But here you can either begin to search for trading opportunities where you are entering in a sell order and coming out in a buy order. Or obviously you can come and say, okay, so it has corrected 10%. Well, is this that dip that where we can begin to buy? But obviously you may want to wait and see if the market does retraces all the way down to at least yesterday's low. But again, today, if the market, we're not gonna have that much of volume, at least coming out from the futures market, because the market is closed again today because of the respect for the late Jimmy Carter. So that's the direction for the NASDAQ. We are again in a intraday downtrend, making lower highs and lower lows. Okay, and you can see that here. So again, will this continue and just correct a bit more, doesn't have to be 10% by rule, golden rule, but around 10% is when we have the market has corrected. So therefore, we could probably anticipate that the market will continue to trend lower, revisit yesterday's low, and continue towards this double bottom created on the January 2nd and on December 20th, these two swing lows here that we see in the NASDAQ. As far as the S&P goes, well, the S&P, the all-time high, as you can see, is this candle, this big candle since they made that all-time high, hasn't really come back towards it, but the high is 6147 times 10% minus 5,532. 5,532. So we are not even close to having that 10% retracement. Now, both indices on the red, yes, the NASDAQ and the S&P, are companies listed on both indices, yes, they are. So will one index do the same as the other one? Well, depend, because obviously that's where you're gonna want to come in and figure out which stocks are losing value and which ones are gaining their value weight to the index, which ones are more than others. So if, for example, the 7 Magnificent, those 7 stocks have moved the index and in comparison to its peers within the index. So you can come in and speculate that for now, perhaps this will continue, because it's also making higher lows and lower lows, but from this swing, it hasn't made another low, it hasn't revisited this low. So again, first, you will have to come in, revisit this yesterday's low and fluctuate even lower to come in and revisit this other low. So you have to make the decision. The RSI is below 50, which implies momentum being built up to the downside. So, but again, today is not going to be one of those days for you to, but analyze the markets well. As far as the Dow is concerned, well, the Dow did make a triple top in reality. So this is a high of 45,171. This is a high of 45,168. This is a high of 41,151. So the high is 45,171. We graphed that. 45,171 times 10% minus equals 40,653. So 40,000, that's a 10% correction. That's a 10 you have to move, and there's still a lot, even though it had all of this just drop, it's gotta come down to 40,653 for that correction. So the market, if the stock market indices are looking to do a correction, only the NASDAQ has done that correction. So the S&P and the Dow are far away from that correction. So does that mean that the NASDAQ will continue to correct deeper and its peers, the S&P and then the Dow, will also follow suit? Well, again, there's still 10 days, 11 days until Trump comes into office. And perhaps the market will do so that when he comes into office and his tariffs, we'll learn more about his tariffs and also learn more about what the Fed will do. Then we'll also learn about CPI, more macro data coming in, and in regards to obviously interest rates. So all of that will be known by then. So we could probably speculate that the market most likely will continue to trend lower. So that's that for the indexes. Again, the indexes are going to be closed today. The futures market, crude oil yesterday, after almost hitting that 75.5, it fluctuated lower. It closed below 74. Today, the market is looking to recuperate that movement lower. So let's just use the 50-day moving average as our one possible level of support, and then between that and 75.5 is the first level of support. $74 the resistance because it's a psychological number, and the upper Bollinger Band will be our levels. RSI is neutral but still above 50. So let's see if today will be one of those days that the market will continue to move higher. It's making a nice upward trajectory trend anyhow, but it has been, if you will, making just a tight range. So again, take it with concern, but I am again bullish with crude oil. Nat Gas it did fluctuate to the upside yesterday. It didn't reach the previous day's high or the open, but at least it did recuperate itself. But today it is trending lower. So will we have a lower day again? Very low volume in the markets today. This will be closed. Then we have we got gold that is creating. It is turning higher. So we are making higher highs, higher lows. Technical analysis tells us that's 3 consecutive green days, or 3 consecutive days of higher highs and higher lows. We are in an uptrend, so that uptrend is visible. So therefore, let's use the upper Bollinger Band, which sits right around 2,700, and let's just leave the 2680 to be met. As far as support, the 20-day moving average is going to be a level of support of interest in 2650, which 2650 will resonates into your memory, being a level that has previously worked as resistance and in the past as support. So let's use that. And again, being bullish on gold. So gold has more volume, more volatility than the indices and the energy market. So then we have here silver, that the 50-day moving average is acting as a dynamic resistance, and that's where I've been having the level of resistance. So let's see if that will work for again today. As far as support, I'm gonna bring that up to yesterday's swing low, and then the second one I'm gonna bring it up right just to 29, psychological round number. Again, being bullish with metals. Copper fluctuating to the upside. Now, copper is just cruising along, making higher highs, higher lows. Correction, unless demand subsides, I don't see it happening so far. 50-day moving average is going to be our level of support, first level of support, and then the 415, our second one. So again, RSI is getting closer to entering overbought territory, so keep that in mind. But being bullish, staying long on copper. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is having some rough scenarios here, trying to sustain itself north of 90,000, climbing back up to at least 95, but it hasn't been able to do so. 100,000 is way off, way far away. So let's use initially the 20-day moving average within the bands as a dynamic level of resistance. It is trending lower, so let's keep that in perspective. So that correlation, that inverted correlation between gold and Bitcoin, gold trades up, Bitcoin down, and vice versa. Then we have the currencies. The euro is just trying to sustain itself north of 102, and this fluctuation is just looking as it might not be able to do so. So obviously the dollar index is going to have a lot to say also on that, so keep that in mind. It's fluctuating to the downside. Let's see if it revisits yesterday's low. The pound is continuing. It's just continuing to its drop. 122 is gonna be that second level of support, and 122.5. The first one, I'm gonna leave the same levels of resistance here. It is getting closer to being oversold, so that as the RSI drops into oversold territory, that could be a level to consider for a reversal entry, and that will continue to happen as the dollar index continues its trajectory to the upside. 1095, it'll bring obviously the currencies way lower than they are today, put pressure on the metals, obviously also make more expensive commodities. That's it for today. Again, the stock market is going to be closed today, so you're gonna be limited on your trades. Have a great trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow.